Gamers, just like every other type of people, can achieve great and amazing things. Crazy things! Here are 5 of them. Gnoggin. Pressing buttons is what video games are, and no amount of Kinect can change that. The average person can press a single button around 7 times per second tops. The average gamer around 10 to 12 if you practice and get the hang of it. Now meet Takahashi Meijin. He worked at Hudson Soft in the 80s and 90s in the marketing division, and he set the world record for the most button presses per second, at 16. That was him doing it in his elderly years. Wow! While scores don't really matter much anymore, back in the days of the arcade, they were everything. If you were #1 in the arcade, it meant you had some sick skills. You were the raddest gamer around. The big competitive game to get the high score over is the original Donkey Kong. It's so big that they actually made a movie about it. Meet Steve Wiebe, the current holder of the highest score, and one of the few people to even make it to the last level of the game. And this game doesn't have a last level. The programmers just stopped working on them, so this level has a huge glitch that will just make your character die. Getting to this level just kills you, because the programmers didn't bother finishing it. The record used to be held by Billy Mitchell all the way back in 1982 with a score of 1,050,200. And this is a game where you make points by only a few hundred at a time, and a few thousand if you beat a level fast enough. But in 2010, Steve Wiebe beat his long-lasting high score, and set the new record at 1,064,500. If you like retro gaming culture, you should definitely check this movie out, it's pretty good. With high scores not really a thing anymore, super competitive but wanting to play single-player games gamers started doing other things, like speedrunning. And just like how Donkey Kong was the game to have a high score on, Super Mario 64 is one of the games to speedrun, and using tools to speedrun is pure crap. There's nothing incredible about hacking a game to make it easily speedrunnable than speedrunning it. Anyway, the average time for completing Mario 64 with all 120 stars is around 30 hours if you don't suck at the game. Now meet Sigil Mike, the record holder for the non-tool assisted speedrun of Mario 64. He managed to get all 120 stars in 1 hour, 44 minutes, and 1 second. Look at all these tricks he has to do! It's crazy! For those of us who love devoting much of our time to a single game, but aren't skilled enough to do anything like get a high score or a record speedrun, there is marathoning. Meet Okin Kaya of Australia. He holds the world record for the longest gaming marathon. He played Call of Duty Black Ops 2 for 135 hours, 15 minutes, and 10 seconds. That's over 5.5 days! And he was only allotted a few 10-minute breaks to urinate and stuff every few hours. There are people attempting to break this record all the time, but most of them fail, of course, passing out or even going to the hospital, and one guy even died. I find this to be the most impressive. Video game glitches happen all the time. Some people learned these and learn how to use them to their advantage. Pokemon Red and Blue was released in 1998, and later, in 2003, a glitch developed that allowed you to actually catch Mew. Mew was programmed as an event-only Pokemon. There is absolutely no way of catching one legitimately outside of the event. Or this glitch. Note, I said this glitch was developed, not discovered. I say developed because someone studied the game to its deepest levels of ones and zeros in its programming, and managed to find a way to derp the little computer chip into thinking you're battling Mew. You walk in front of this guy, this one specific guy, and pause the game the very millisecond you do so. This way, you get access to the menu before the programming in the game makes him initiate battle. It has his data loaded, and the data that you've walked into his path loaded, and so now he wants to battle you, and that data has been loaded. But the programming hasn't started to make him walk up to you and challenge you. Now you fly to Cerulean City, and see, this guy noticed him and he was about to start combat, but you flew away. Now, walking along Nugget Bridge, you must have already beaten most of these trainers, all but one of them. But when you walk in front of this one specific boy and battle him, beat him, then fly to Route 8, and walk along until your menu mysteriously pops up by itself. When you exit the menu, you will immediately start battle with Mew. What? What's happening is that the fragmented data left over from this fight you didn't do, plus the fight of this trainer's Slowpoke, plus the data of Route 8, equals the programming code that initiates a battle with Mew. The ones and zeros here just happen to be the same, and the idea that a guy dug so deep into the game's programming to figure this out is crazy. He used his noggin to the ultimate level. Stay awesome.